Thank you very much. 40 years, not 50. I'm a young guy. First of all, it's my privilege to be here and to speak to you. People come to California. This is the sights of California. Boys learning Torah. What could be better? So it says, Avram odenu omeid lifnei Hashem. And Avram was still standing before Hashem. And Chazal say, what does it mean standing? Ein amida ela tefillah. Standing means praying. So most people, when they hear this Maimer Chazal, they assume that it just means, there's different names for davening. There's Tchina, Bakasha, all kinds of names. So another name is standing. But Reb Chaim Brisker said it means so much more. Zeichet Tzadik L'Vrach, Schus Yirgen Aleinu. Reb Chaim Brisker said that it says, Kisha'ata mispalel, da lifnei mi'ata omed. When you daven, know before whom you're standing. Says Reb Chaim, that, step one, that when you're davening, you know before who you're standing, that's tefillah. Ein amida ela tefillah. What does that mean? So he explains. On Shabbos, if you rip out a vegetable from the ground, forgetting that it's Shabbos, you have to bring a chatas. That's called shigige Shabbos uzadain malacha. You forgot it was Shabbos. If you ripped it out from the ground because you forgot that kotzer is osir, you forgot that you're not allowed to harvest on Shabbos, Yhai v'chatas, because that's called zdain Shabbos v'shigigas malacha. You forgot that it was osir. But let's say you thought it was detached from the ground, and you picked it up and you ripped it. You don't bring a carbon, because that's called misasek. You didn't mean to do it. Says Rav Chaim, don't think that if you're davening and you're not focusing that you're standing before Hashem. You're davening, but you're just not having kavanah. No. Says Rav Chaim, that's not davening. That's misasek. Give you another example. You come out of the bathroom Friday night and you flick off the light. You didn't forget it was Shabbos, and you didn't forget closing the light. You just did it out of reflex. You're not chai v'chatas. If you just go, but you're thinking about what you're going to eat on Shabbos, you're thinking about what you're going to do on Sunday, and you're not focused at all on the Rabbeinu Shalom, then whatever you're doing, it's not davening. You didn't daven that morning. That's the meaning of Ein Amida Ela Tefillah. And, you have a tremendous benefit. And that is you're young. And you could get into good habits. Do you know how many people there are that are 50 years older than you? They come into shul on Shabbos morning, and they're there for 2.5 hours. And then you ask them afterwards, how was davening? Very nice. The Baal Tefillah sang Adonai Olam gewaldig. What a mimkaimcha. Baal Keri didn't make a mistake. Do you know one time the whole morning he never talked to the Rabbi Shalom once? But he said he had a good morning in shul. That's the meaning of Ovar V'Shana Nasala Keheter. Person does it over and over again. And it becomes, you don't even realize what you're doing. People daven Musaf, and they don't once think about the Karva Musaf. It's criminal. But you're ahead of the game. Because you can get into the right habits. I like to tell people that they should train themselves when they open the siddur. They should make believe that they hear a sound. The gates are opening. They're entering into the palace of the king. This klal, you should know, is chitzoniyos ma'ororos hapnimiyos. It's a very big thing. That's why we bow down. Why we bow down? Why do we take 3 steps forward? What, we're getting closer to Hashem by taking 3 steps forward? What does that mean? I mean, the idea is, La Hashem ha'aretz ha'malah. So Hashem was over here the same way as he's over here. So why are we taking the 3 steps forward? We're taking the 3 steps forward in order to be ma'ir us. That we're coming to Hashem. We're bowing down. That's chitzoniyos ma'ororos hapnimiyos. In many shuls all across the world, one of the most popular things that's on the Aron Kodesh is Nasal on Torah Emes is very nice too. But a lot of Aron Kodeshes you'll see say Da lifnei mi ata oimi. Because it's the starting point. If you don't focus that you're standing before the Rabbi Shalom, you don't even get the basics. You know what davening stands for? The Bnei Yissaschar says the very funny word davening. What's davening? The Bnei Yissaschar says davening stands for Avinan, that of our fathers, Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, because Avram made chakras, Yitzchak made mincha, Yaakov made ma'av. So we're davening, Avinan. We have to daven like Hashem, like the others daven. They're talking to the Rabbi Shalom. There are many people that bench. You know, benching is very rare because benching, most of our davening is d'Rabbanan. Benching is d'Oraisa. The first 3 brachas are d'Oraisa, and then Atayv Ameitiv, which was made in Yavna, is d'Rabbanan. But that's 4 brachas, 3 of them which are d'Oraisa. It's so rare that's why we say so many requests afterwards. It's an amazing thing. In benching, we go, wow. I mean, when do you ask Hashem that you should have Olam Haba? Rachmana, who Yizakenu l'moisa Mashiach l'chaye Olam Haba. I mean, you never ask Hashem for Olam Haba. I mean, it's a nice thing to ask, but think about it. Throughout the day, when do you ask for these things? Harachman Yifarnesein b'chavoid, Harachman Yishalon bracha meruba b'bayis hazeh. I mean, it's amazing all the things that we ask for, and then we could ask for Harachman Avarich Oisi Ves Avi Mori Vesimi Marasi. I mean, you know why? Because it says that Vani Sfilasi L'cha Hashem Eis Ratzon. Once I create a time of favor. Doing 3 d'Oraisa brachas, it's a time of favor. So then I could ask Hashem for a lot of things. But you know, a lot of people, they open the bencher and they make a mistake. They bench to the bencher. Isn't that an interesting thing? They bench to the bencher. You're not supposed to bench to the bencher. You're supposed to say thank you to Hashem. So it's like a person that goes to the airport. They're planning to go to New York. They get in the plane, and they're tired. So they right away, even before the plane takes off, they go to sleep. 6 hours later, they wake up. They figure they're in New York. They found out that the plane never took off. That's the way a lot of people bench. They never took off. They never focused on the Eibishter. It's like a plane that doesn't take off. Well, I'll give you another mushal. Do they eat cereal here in California? Yeah. Cheerios? Yeah. Got Cheerios here too. I guess it's America. Yeah. A lot of people bench like eating Cheerios. You know how you eat Cheerios? You have a relationship between you and the bowl. And you eat every Cheerio. That's the way people daven. They have a relationship with the sitter. And they say every word. But they're not talking to the Rabbeinu Shalom. So, this is something, you know, when you go to yeshiva, it's a tremendous benefit. It's a tremendous benefit. What's the benefit? I know I'm hungry too. I didn't eat breakfast yet. It's a tremendous benefit that you don't have other responsibilities. You're not yet taking care of a family. You don't have to go to work to make money. You have time so you could concentrate and get yourself used to the right way to do things. Try to get used to the right way to daven. So you'll say, yeah, I have to learn what the words mean. Before you learn what the words mean, I have news for you. If you daven Nusach Svard, in Shema Keleinu it says, Kikel Shemea Tfilas Kol Peh. Hashem even listens to the tefillah of the mouth, even if the mind is not in it. It's an amazing thing. But you need to be talking to the Rabbeinu Shalom. It's kind of ridiculous. Let's say somebody would say, we decided a bacha from this yeshiva is going to speak in the White House on behalf of the Yidden in Eretz Yisrael. You're very excited. But you have to speak in Swahili. But I don't know Swahili. That's okay, we'll have it written in front of you in English. You just get up there and say, Mambo, Gimbo, Mimbo, Bum, Dum, Dim, Tidimba, Kama, You'll feel like a tough. No, I'm not doing that. But that's the way a lot of people daven. Let me ask you something. If you walked in the street, what's the name of that big boulevard that we were on? La Brea. You're walking on La Brea. I like 13th Avenue better, but okay. You're walking on La Brea, and you see somebody with a dog, and they're going like this. You'll call the police. That's crazy even for California. But if the person is in shul and he's going like this, that's normal, he's davening. I know dog and God is the same letters, but come on. That's the way to daven? That's the way to daven? So as I said, we come to yeshiva and we want to get into good habits. So listen carefully to me. I'm going to tell you a story. It's a story that the Chofetz Chaim tells. There was a man, his name was Chatzkel. He died at the ripe age of 93. He went up to Shmei, and in Shmei they judge him. And after they judge him, so the Rabbi Shalom tells Chatzkel, see that wooden gate over there? You go through there, that's your Olam Haba. And Chatzkel sees there's a bunch of nice houses over there. But then he looks up and he sees silver gates, golden gates. Then he sees titanium gates and plutonium gates that have such music and smells coming out. And he says, Rabbi Shalom, will I ever be able to get up there? And Rabbi Shalom looks at Chatzkel sadly and he says, Chatzkel, I'm sorry, but you just didn't do enough. Learning wasn't your thing. You didn't give much of your money to tzedakah. You weren't that nice to your wife. You're davening. But it's okay. I know you put on tefillin, you kept Shabbos, you tried to be good to people. It's a nice neighborhood. You'll have a nice life. It's okay. Okay, he goes in, and it's not bad. Everything was good until 2 years later, his best friend, Shmuel, came up. And Shmuel comes up, and Chatzkel sees they're fitting Shmuel with a backpack, with a jetpack. And boom! He's going up to the gates. Chatzkel comes to Rabban Shalom, Shmuel was just like me. He didn't learn. He wasn't so nice. What's going on over here? And the Rabbi Shalom looks at him sadly. And he says, Ay, Chatzkel, where were you when the Rebbe taught that Kol ha'oina Amein Paiskan lo Sharei Gan Eden? That whoever answers Amein properly, they open up the gates of Gan Eden. When you were in shul and you were, talking about the baseball and the stock market, Shmuel, when he heard Baruch Atah Hashem Mekadesh HaShabbos, he answered Amein. I believe in it. When you were busy daydreaming, when Shmuel heard Baruch Atah Hashem Shemei Tefillah, that Hashem listens to everything, he said Amen, and he had kavanah. Do you see how an Amen could be a game changer? But again, it's all about training. Let me ask you a question. You're learning yeshiva. It's an obvious question. Why do we say Amen? Why don't we say emes? Doesn't have a good ring to it. Shakol niya b'dvaro emes. Why don't we do that? Why don't we say, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam shelo yasani goy emes? They don't do that here in California, right? No. It's a good kasha, right? Good kasha. I'll tell you why we don't do that. Because Amein is more. Emes means intellectually, intellectually I know it. Amein means I believe it. She'll say, Rabbi Wise, what's the difference? I'll show you what the difference is. If I ask any of the good standing citizens here in this room whether they believe, whether whether they believe that Hashem is listening to them when they daven. Everybody will say yes. They'll say, Rabbi Weiss, you think I'm an Apikoros? Of course! So then how come people daydream in the middle of davening? If Hashem is listening, yikes! I believe it up here, but I don't feel it here. It's a big, Rabbi Yisrael Salanta says that's the biggest distance in the world from the head to the heart. It's a very big difference, very big distance. Very big distance from the head to the heart. That's why we don't say emes. Emes is intellectual, it's up here. Amein is I believe. You want to get into every gate? Even to those weird titanium gates with the unbelievable music, with the incredible smells, the Hanav and Neshama smell, with the incredible smells. Start working now. If you start working now, then when you get to be my age, it's going to be a piece of cake. That's chinuch. Train yourself. Now, it's not easy. It's work. Because that means that every time you hear a Kaddish, you have to listen to, you can't answer Amein unless you're listening. But it's what to listen to. Here we're thinking about what's going on in Eretz Yisrael. And the thinking person has to really think what's going on in Eretz Yisrael. Do you know that last week there was sirens in Tel Aviv? And it was reported that 2 million people ran to bomb shelters. 2 million people. Do you know what that means? That means people with walkers. That means people who took sleeping pills and had to be shaken out of a sleep and walking half asleep down narrow steps. It means mothers holding their brand new babies. 2 million people. So you're listening to the Chazan saying Kaddish, and he's saying Yhai Shlama Rabba min Shemaya, V'chayim Aleinu Val Kol Yisrael. V'imru Amein, you say Amein. Now there's another definition of Amein. It's true, but certain brachas where we ask for something to happen, we then add in our minds Kain Yehi Ratzon, or as the Oilus Talmud shortens it, because the shorter you make it, it's easy. Ulavai. Ulavai. That you should be Chaim Aleinu. Oiseh Shalom B'Mraimav, just like you make peace in the heavens, so that the different planets shouldn't bang into each other and make a mess. So all kinds of things in the heavens that Hashem makes peace, that they shouldn't bang into one another. Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, make peace with us. Rabbi Shalom, you can make peace. You can make peace. I'll call Yisrael. Amen. Amen. Yes, I believe. And ulavai. Get into the training of doing that. Now there is another benefit of Amein. And that benefit of Amein is Gemara's Beferish Gemara and Brachas. Kol amarich ba'amein marichen lo yama v'shnaisav. And that's why I tell people, make your brachas at home out loud, so that your parents could answer Amen. You want your parents to live long, right? I always make my brachas out loud. I want my wife to live long. She makes her brachas out loud. I want her to live long. That's just Amen. We didn't even get to the secret weapon that we all have. We didn't even get. Tell me again, what time is Lichtzen? They said I could talk to you till Lichtzen. No, I can't, because I have to speak by the girls. There's a secret weapon that we all have. It's wow. It's wow. It's Amein, Yhai, Shmei, Rabba, Mivarach, La'olam, La'olmei, Olmaya. You know how important that is? You know what Bereshis stands for? Bereshis stands for a lot of things. The Rav Sadia Gaon said that all 613 mitzvahs are hidden in Bereshis. So somebody once went over to the Vilna Gaon and said to him, hey, how do you see Pidyon HaBen in Bereshis? So he says, yeah, Ben Rishon Achar Shloshim Yomim Tifteh. Now I'm not going to go through all 613 because I don't know them. But I could tell you a lot of things. Do you know that without Rashi we wouldn't know how to learn Chumash? So Bereshis is the same letters as Rashi Basa. Rashi will come, or Rashi Tava. We know that man was created on Rosh Hashanah. That's why Bereshis, the purpose of the world, that's why Bereshis is Ba'alef Tishrei. There are a lot of things in Bereshis. But I'm going to tell you one thing that's in Bereshis. Bereshis stands for, if you look at the letters of Bereshis, Amein, Yhai, Shmei, Rabba, Bakol Tefillah. That's Bereshis. Amein, Yhai, Shmei, Rabba, Bakol Tefillah. Do you know the power of a Bereshis? Here you have a guy. I remember I was once in Baltimore, a scholar in residence by Rav Heinemann. I remember they had a problem. They had just arrested a Jewish bike thief. He was a Jew, but he went around and he stole bikes. They had a problem what to do with him. He was a bike thief. So let's say Yankel, the bike thief, has been stealing bikes for 70 years. Now, of course, Bein Adam L'Chaveri has to make restitution. He has to ask for Mechila, Reishav is Exel, but he also has an account with the Rabbeinu Shalom. Hey, Yankel, some people learned Daf Yomi for 70 years. You've been stealing bikes for 70 years. But he comes into shul and he makes a real good Amein Yhai Shmei Rabba mit alle Ramachi Vorim Mashin Samachei Giden. Gemara says afilu gzar din shel shivim shana karenloi. They rip it up because of one Amein Yhai Shmei Rabba. Don't you think that this is a good skill to have, to know how to say Amein Yhai Shmei Rabba? So you'll say, well, you Rabbi Wise, you know how to, you have to know how to learn geometry, but know how to say Amein Yhai Shmei Rabba. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to say Amein Yhai Shmei Rabba. You have to know how to say Amein Yhai Shmei Rabba. First of all, you have to know the Amein that you're saying is going back on the request Yiskadal v'Yiskadash Shmei Rabba. Right? Bagolo Vizman Koriv. So you have to, when you say Amein, you have to know I'm saying Amein to the request Yiskadal v'Yiskadash Shmei Rabba. What's that? Hashem should be great and holy. Hashem is already great and holy. He's the greatest. So what do I mean? Oh, no. It means that there should come the time, what the Navi says, Hiskadalti v'Hiskadashti v'nayadati beina ha'amin. It should come the time where the 70 nations gather against the Jews like they do in the UN, more than 70 nations. And they come with all their might and their nuclear bombs and everything. And the boys will come out of the kollel and say Tillim, and they'll all disappear. They'll all fall down dead, like in the time of Sancheiriv. And anybody that's left standing and reporting on CNN will say, that's the time where Hashem will be greater and holier because he'll be known by more people. And we say, Yizgadol v'Yizgadol Shmei Rabba, may that time come. Amen. First of all, I believe it's going to happen. And Ulavai, Ken Yiratza. Now we're ready for the second part. Yhai Shmei Rabba Mivarach La'olam Ula'olmei Almaya. May your name Hashem be blessed forever and ever. La'olam Ula'olmei Almaya means forever and ever. So first of all, what we're doing is we're saying, Hashem, I know that there's another world, and it'll be forever and ever. And may I be there to bless you forever and ever. Now you'll say, I'll do it when it happens. I'll do what happens. Isn't it enough for now? Because when we bless Hashem forever and ever, in the next world we won't have a Yetzer Hara. So we won't get such reward. So now we say, Yhai Shmei Rabba Mivarach La'olam Ula'olmei Almaya. But one more thing. We know when we say Baruch Atah Hashem, we're not just saying Hashem, we're saying Baruch Atah, you're the source of blessing. We say Rabbeinu Shalom, I know what a blessing there's going to be forever and ever. You're going to be the source of blessing because I'm learning now in yeshiva, I'm going to be from those people that have the nitzchias of getting your blessing forever and ever. Yhai Shmei Rabba Mevorach, you're the source of blessing. La'olam Ula'olmei Almaya. We're affirming our belief in Olam Haba and Gishmak forever and ever. Got to get used to doing this. Because if you do it now, it's going to be a piece of cake the rest of your life. That's what you do when you come to yeshiva, you get used to it. So I gave you some homework. Let's review. Da lifnei mi'ata oimid. Number one. Without that, it's not davening. I don't know what it might be. It might be calisthenics. It might be exercise. It's not davening. You want it to be davening? You'll say, what did you do this morning? Well, we davened. No, you didn't. You weren't thinking about Hashem. That's not davening. Says Reb Chaim Brisker. That's not davening. Maybe it's shuckling. Yeah, I was shuckling. I was a lulav. But that's not davening. Whether you're in New York, California, Bnei Brak, London, Australia, that's not davening. So number one, I'm going to train myself. I take those 3 steps forward. I'm entering to the palace of Hashem. I'm standing before the Rabbeinu Shalom. Then it's davening. Use those Ameins. It's the master key to get into all the gates. Isn't that a good investment? A good investment. You have a master key to get into all the gates of pleasure of the Olam Haba. Train yourself, not just to know it here, but to feel it. Amein is emunah. I believe. Now you want to even be more? Rabbeinu Bachya says when you answer Amein, but this is already sophisticated. So if you're not ready for it, wait. Rabbeinu Bachya says when you answer Amein, you should also answer Amein, not just to the Shakol Niyeh B'dvar, but also to the Baruch Atah Hashem. That's a Rabbeinu Bachya. But that takes time. You don't have to jump. May be the will of Hashem that in the schus of our working on being better, Hashem should give us this yata d'shmaya to be better. He should give you all hatzlach and ruchnius and gashmius, simchas achayim, good friends, safety for Klal Yisrael, and the bias gal tzedek b'mher v'yameinu.